Good morning. Today we're looking at all of Genesis chapter 33. And as always, I want to encourage you to take the time to read this chapter carefully because it shows the power of humility, reconciliation, and God's grace in restoring broken relationships. In verses 1 through 4, Jacob finally sees Esau approaching with 400 men. Keep in mind, years earlier, Jacob had fled because Esau planned to kill him. So this moment carries great tension, as you can imagine. Jacob arranges his family carefully and does something really unexpected. He goes ahead of them and bows to the ground 7 times as he approaches his brother. This act shows, one, humility, but also submission. Instead of defending himself or preparing for conflict, Jacob chooses humility. Esau's response is remarkable. He runs to meet Jacob, embraces him, and they both weep. What Jacob feared would end in revenge instead becomes a time of reconciliation. In verses 5 through 11, Esau asks about Jacob's family and the gifts that were sent ahead. Jacob insists that Esau accept these gifts, explaining that seeing his brother's face is like seeing the face of God because of the kindness shown to him. Jacob recognizes that the mercy he prayed for in chapter 32 has now been answered. The gifts are not a payment, but really an expression of peace and gratitude. In verses 12 through 17, Esau offers to travel together, but Jacob wisely declines, explaining his family and livestock must move slowly. Instead, Jacob promises to follow at a different pace. This shows a balance of reconciliation and wisdom. Peace does not always mean walking the exact same path, but it does mean removing hostility and maintaining goodwill. In verses 18 through 20, Jacob arrives safely in the land of Canaan, settles near Shechem, purchases land, and builds an altar. This moment marks a significant step in Jacob's spiritual journey. The man once known for grasping and deceiving now publicly worships God and acknowledges him as his God. We can see how this chapter teaches us that reconciliation often begins with humility and trust in God's work in the hearts of others. Jacob feared the worst, but God had already been working in Esau's heart. The same God who met Jacob at Peniel now restores the relationship Jacob once broke. The passage also points us to Christ. Just as Jacob approached his brother in humility and received mercy instead of judgment, believers approach God not with confidence in themselves, but through the grace provided in Christ. Through Christ, reconciliation with God becomes possible. Today, consider whether there is a relationship in your life that needs humility, forgiveness, or restoration. Take a step toward peace where possible, trusting that God can soften hearts and bring reconciliation in ways you may never expect. God bless.